Welcome back everyone to EU4 with the Great Culture Wars. Now, one thing I wanted to say is that I really enjoy this war that we've seen, or the several wars that we've seen now going on between kind of these powers here. That really is a lot of fun, and I've been looking forward to that for a long time. Now, let's quickly remind ourselves as to what's going on at this very moment. We've got three French culture groups going against the Flemish, that are being supported by the Prussians and Franconians. We also still got the Turkish jihad going on against Romanians and Franconians, and we've got some smaller wars going on. The Occitans trying to do some stuff, and the Portuguese, and then maybe more notably is the Finnish trying to reconquer some of their lost lands, against Silesians. Now the Silesians have initially been successful in this war. They repelled the Finns. But, you know, they brought in their personal union buddy in Latvia, and now the Silesians are being overrun. And this is kind of interesting to see. If you remember, in the beginning, or sort of beginning of this series, we saw sort of a quadruple alliance build here in what I would call Central Europe. I would call these four powers the Central Powers. There was an alliance between Austria, the Czechs, the Silesians, and the Hungarians. This was a very powerful alliance that kind of allowed for these four powers to grow into all sort of directions. Now this alliance eventually fell apart. I mean, that is, you know, not really a big surprise there. The first ones to fall were the Czechs. They were actually kind of betrayed by the Austrians and actually kind of by all three of the other members. So they got killed off very quickly. They're still around, but they're obviously a shadow of their former self. The next ones to die were actually the Austrians, who just lost this big war to the Romanians, and the Hungarians tried to help them as much as they could, but, you know, they couldn't really. Now, we saw the Hungarians then fall to the Muscovites and Ruthenians. I mean, they're still powerful, but they lost a lot of lands. And just now, we see the Silesians having to give up huge parts of their territory, not only to the Finns, who took 2 provinces, but they also had to give up lands to the Norwegians, and the Polish are back with 4 provinces. So the sort of Central Powers have definitely lost a lot of their strength, and if I'm being honest here, I think the Serbians have just grown stronger as well. Who took that province? Where did they get that province from? I'm actually kind of surprised. Where did they had these two. They definitely took this province, but I wonder who gave it to them. Who gave that province to them? I can't see. Let me quickly check this out. Let me check the province history. It was Finnish core of Basilic. No. Oh, it was annexed by... Stopped being a core of Hungarians. So Hungarians must have sold this province, because I don't think they lost a war just now. No, they were not really in a war. Maybe that was part of the peace deal, part of the war they lost against the Ruthenians. Give this province to the Muscovites, 4 provinces to the Ruthenians, and 1 to the Serbians. It's possible. After all, Muscovy is allied to the Serbians. So this could be, yeah, this could be it. Yeah. So wow, this is very, very interesting. So as I said, we kind of lose, or we kind of see the Central Powers lose power. Austrians demolished, Czechs definitely demolished, Silesians now as well, and Hungarians are still powerful, but definitely reduced in strength, and they're the ones bordering the Muscovites and the Turkish. So their survival is not guaranteed. Other than that, we have sort of what I would call the Axis now, if they continue their lines. We've got the Franconian-Romanian Axis that is currently trying to repel the Turkish invaders, and they're doing a good job so far, but mostly because the Turkish are doing a bad job. The Greeks have decided to stay out of this, or peace out of this war, and it's not looking too good. I think the Turks are being driven from this, and since they have lost so much war score, they might even have to give up some provinces. So in the end, this was very ill done on their part. They still got tons of troops here, but the Syrians are sort of uninterested in this war. They've only sent a splinter force here, and they now even lost some provinces to the Croatians. So this was really bad. Poorly done on the Turkish. They could have really utilized this victory they had over the Hungarians, but they didn't. They simply didn't. And yeah, because the Turks are so weak now, this gives the Franconians time to push back. The Flemish still... nope, the Flemish lost their capital, so they're just They just own one more province here that is for some reason not occupied, but they're definitely losing in the long run. And let me see how things are looking. So we've got, yeah, the Normans, Vallonians, and Burgundians pushing in on the Franconians. So far they're staying clean. They have not yet a single occupation. In fact, they occupied the Burgundian capital in turn, which is now about to be retaken. But yeah, they're at -7%, so hopefully they're going to take that over. Well, it's a stalemate, I would say. It's a stalemate. But yeah, so the Turks had to give up. Wow! The Turks lost 3 provinces to the Croatians. Look at that. Now, I'm not sure. Yep, and the Turks had to give 1 province in the center of their European territories. They had to give this 1 province back to the Bulgarians. Perhaps they even had to give that province back to the Bulgarians. I'm not too sure about that. Let me check the province history here as well. I think maybe not. It could be. It was occupied by the Turkish, yeah, so maybe not. But they definitely had to give this province back. They perhaps even had to break some alliances. Nope, they still kept their alliances. But yeah, I mean, I gotta say, the Croatians, very smart. Very smart. They took 4 provinces in this. 4 provinces, indeed. They first sided with the Turks to take land, at least 1 province from the Hungarians. And then, well, they didn't really side against the Turks. I mean, they were the ones being attacked. But they're smart. Their diplomatic game, whoever is leading Croatia during this time of need, Kraljica, Jadranka, Gorojanski or whatever. I totally butchered that, but he or she, I can't even say if that's a dude. I mean, ending of an A usually means a girl, but I have no clue. But I think this must be Kraljica. Sounds like it's a female title. Regardless, she's very inspiring. She's a conqueror, and you can definitely say that. I mean, she almost doubled Croatia's lands during these past few years. I mean, they completely annexed, well, not completely annexed, but they took over part of Venice, and they just took the second part over now from the Turks, and they in between got an extra province from Hungary, and they're now firmly established as part of the Franconian-Romanian axis. They're a strong ally here. This is a triple alliance that we've got going on, and Romania is now allied to the Hungarians. I think they've had enough of the Turks. They now want to extend their hand towards the Hungarians. I think the important part here was that the Hungarians drop the Austrian alliance. I think it's the Romanians and Franconians, they don't have anything against the Hungarians. I think they actually want to stop the Turkish just as much as they want, but they wanted the Hungarians to rely on them for support. They didn't want to have this sort of Austro-Hungarian alliance that is powerful on its own. They want the Hungarians to beg for the Romanian support in this, and that's what they have been successful in. So yeah, now we've got this alliance going. Very nice. Yeah, and the Croatians, yeah, they were smart. I think they were really smart in this. And the Muscovites immediately decided to take over some 3 more provinces from the Polish here. So yeah, Poland was just released, got 4 provinces out of their deal, and now 3 of them have been annexed by the Muscovites. So yeah, they are just relentless. Whenever they see a gap, whenever they see a nation that is very weakly defended, they go for it. They just go for it. So they have a little bit of interest here allied to the Greeks, Crimeans, and Ruthenians. So basically their entire southern border is protected. And they have their cause still. They definitely want to go to war with the Ryazanians. They are allied to the Albanians and Ruthenians. Okay. So they might go through declaring a war on the Karelians. I could imagine. That would bring them to at war with the Ryazanians. If they get the Crimeans on their side, they should be capable of winning that. But yeah, we're seeing some really major power plays here. Something I would not have expected the AI being capable of. So yeah, that's certainly nice. The Leonese doing a mass recruiting. They're at war with the Catalans here. Probably going to take over this last province. Now, since when do the Catalans have 2 provinces here? Did they get that from the Occitans in some war? It must be. Let's check out the wars that we have got currently going on. Leonese conquest of Mobile against... so this is a new world war. yeah, not a world war, but you get the idea, a new world war. So you bring in the Gascons, the Bretons, the Danish, Dutch, and New Dutch. Ooh, the Catalan power in North America is being curbed, and I gotta say, it's about time. The Catalans, in a very short amount of time, grew significantly in power. I mean, they're power rank number 5, and I mean, they won 2 quick wars against the United States, but other than that, this is just colonization. They were just really quickly colonizing here. They cut off Sardinia, they cut off the New Dutch, and you know, they can just continue to colonize here. I mean, their rise to power was very sudden, and I think this is just something that sort of scares the Leonese, because obviously, if I remember correctly, the Catalans, they do have quite a bunch of cores on Leonese territory, so they really don't like that at all. Now, the Gascons are probably, after the defeat that they suffered at the hands of the Burgundians, they decided, you know what, we need some ally. We definitely have lost our advantage that we had after some other war against the Burgundians. They've lost this advantage. They now need the Leonese. They need this flank to be protected. They might even be able to take over these 2 provinces from the Catalans here. That's certainly possible. And we shouldn't forget about this. I know this is the culture wars, but religions still play a part. The Burgundians are reformed, right? And, you know, in order to kind of hurt the Burgundians, it might be prudent to destroy this very powerful reformed nation in North America that can threaten your colonies. So, because the Catalans for some reason converted, and you know, that wasn't really of a major importance for a long time because, well, the Catalans just didn't play a big role. But now that they grew significantly more powerful in the New World, the reformed religion has increased in power as well. So, you know, if this is about religion, which some nations might claim, you know, you might want to keep down the Catalans as well. Otherwise, you know, the Austrians or Burgundians think that their religion is the true one. And, you know, the Croatians have grown in power as well. They're also reformed. So you definitely got to be careful about that. Now, it seems as if the Protestants have completely been wiped out. There's still a few provinces here and there held by the Turkish, but for the most part, they are gone. So it's now just the just the reformed centers of Reformation that are still around. All right, well, that makes sense. Anything else that's particularly important going on? Let me check out some more. It's basically, this is the only war. So I've definitely missed some of the wars that were going on. Oh, right, it was the Franconians fighting the Vallonians. Now, they managed to keep their provinces, so I doubt they lost. Yeah, they didn't lose anything. They managed to hold on. The Flemish lost. Oh, yeah, the Flemish lost the province. This was formerly Flemish. This is the center of trade. Very well developed province. 26% 26 development there. So yeah, that's too bad for them. But they didn't lose much else. It was just that, which obviously is a big part. I think that may have even been their capital. Yep, that was their capital. So where's your capital now? Is it in? Yep, it is now in Scandinavia. Alright, well, that was a big deal. That actually was a huge blow to the Flemish. But the Franconians at least managed to hold their own lands together. So that's good for them. Good for them indeed. Alright, anything else that we have got? No, it's still just this. The Leonese are losing this, technically. I suppose they're having trouble sending over men here. The New Dutch are kind of under heavy pressure, because the Catalans can field quite a large army. Too bad they don't have Norman Canada on their side, because they would be able to throw a punch. They got no liberty desire, surprisingly. So, you know what? At the end of the day, the Catalans might grow even more powerful because of this war. They could take significant portions of the New Dutch territory, and, you know, that would strengthen them, because they do not get any autonomy or any of that stuff. They can make these provinces into states and really benefit from this. So we'll see how things develop. Obviously, it will sort of divert their attention from colonizing. I don't think they're colonizing as much right now, because they're kind of busy with this war. Yeah, they actually, well, they're still colonizing with one dude, but I think they have a bit more colonists. They have certainly more colonists than just one. So they're at least slowed down, so it does help the Galician Louisiana here. But if they manage to take over the New Dutch, I mean, this is a lot of development they can take right here. Yep. United States actually have permanent claims. Let me actually see how many provinces do you claim? Oh, wow. Wow, you've got tons of claims. Holy balls. Well, too bad you're not going to be able to use them because you're going to get absolutely wrecked. Oh, you have already been wrecked several times, but you're going to get eaten. Alright, so there it is. The Muscovites did decide to go against the Ryazanians to get their cause back. That was to be expected. They called in the Crimeans. Yes, they're with the Karelians. They want their cause back, and they thought that Ruthenia was a useful idiot for a long time, but it's now time to... Well, I guess they don't really want to get rid of the Ruthenians. I think they don't really care about them. I think it's more that if they're in your way, or if they're in my way, the Muscovite way, that is, you know, they're gonna get removed. Simple as that. If they're not in my way, they get to survive a little bit longer. But yeah, they definitely want these cores back. So yeah, we'll see how things go. Obviously, oh, Albania is in this as well. So the Crimeans could come under heavy fire, and then depending on how long the Crimeans can hold on, that is gonna kind of this is gonna well be important, I guess. I'm struggling for words here, but I think this is gonna determine how successful the Muscovites are gonna be in this war. I mean, if Crimea is able to hold off Albania and, you know, distract Ryazanians long enough for the Muscovites to kind of plow through with their 3-star general here, they could piece out the Ruthenians quickly, they could piece out the Karelians quickly, they could get a foothold on their preferred war goal province here. So Ruthenians have already been pieced out, that's good for them. So whatever the war goal is, it's reconquest of Vladimir. So you should get a hold of this quickly. Just for the ticking war score, there is no garrison here. You have the Ryazanian capital under siege. Once you manage to take that, if you can hold on to it, and if you then also get to besiege these two provinces, you're good to go. Is that the Karelian capital? It's not. Okay, but still, it's a significant portion of their development. 31 development right there. Wow. They certainly put a lot of points into this. They've got 3 provinces, but that's 90 development. That is very impressive. Very impressive indeed. Alright, so the Muscovites are doing a stupid move here. They're moving to try and help the Crimeans, which in its sense, in itself is not a stupid move, but it's not really particularly helpful. They've got, you know, oh my god, they've got about 150,000 men in Albania down here. Wow. Okay, so they did take the war goal. They did take the Ryazanian capital of Ryazan. I mean, just one thing to note here. These two provinces, they were the starting provinces of both the Muscovites and the Ryazanians. They both started off with with one of these provinces respectively. And it's just kind of funny to see these two capitals just right next to each other, never really changing hands or anything. So this is kind of cool. I like that. I like the standoff they have. But Moskva is obviously much more developed. 47%, 33 right here. So yeah, that is that. Okay, well, I think I'll quickly end this episode here. Scottish conquest of Cape. They're now fighting Galicia and Morocco. They're winning there. That's good for them. And the Catalans are about to lose. Okay, that's fine as well. Actually, they're losing? Okay, let me quickly check that. No, they're still winning. New Dutch are completely occupied. Alright, well, we'll continue this war in the next episode. But the Muscovites seem to have become an unstoppable juggernaut here in Eastern Europe, which is interesting to see, to say the least. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.